Every time this family steps outside, they tie a 10-meter rope around their waists. That's because their mother told the two boys that the outside world has already been destroyed. The forest is crawling with extremely dangerous supernatural creatures. The moment they set foot beyond the door, all three of them must lash thick hemp ropes tightly around their waists, with the other end anchored to the cabin's foundation. This is their safety barrier. Every single day, the mother and her two sons move like caged animals chained to a leash, walking to the absolute limit of their ropes, scavenging scraps and digging up roots. Life is harsh, but they manage to scrape by. One day, the three head out to forage again. Noah spots a bird's egg up in a tree, but just as he reaches for it, the rope pulls taut. Starving and desperate, Noah's impulse kicks in. He's about to untie the rope from his waist when his older brother Samuel immediately blows the emergency whistle hanging from his chest, stopping him cold. Under Samuel's forceful intervention, Noah has no choice but to grit his teeth and give up. But as they're coiling the ropes and heading back, Noah suddenly hears Samuel, walking ahead of him, mutter something in a smugly taunting voice. "Mom loves me more." Noah freezes. He demands to know what Samuel just said, but Samuel turns around looking completely blank, insisting he didn't say anything. Furious, Noah decides to teach his brother a lesson. He stomps down hard on Samuel's rope dragging along the ground. Samuel, caught completely off guard, instantly loses his balance. Worse still, the massive force rips the knot loose from his waist. He goes tumbling down the steep slope, rolling all the way to the bottom. His leg snaps on impact. Panicking, Noah frantically blows his whistle for help, then frees himself from his own rope and rushes to check on Samuel. That's when something terrifying happens. Samuel, now without the protection of his rope, fatally hears a bone-chilling rustling coming from the dead wood around him. Then, a hideous old woman suddenly crawls out from the underbrush, scrambling towards Samuel on all fours at alarming speed. Lisa hears the whistle and charges over like a woman possessed. But when she's still a few meters from the boys, her rope reaches its limit. The demon is about to touch the children. In that critical moment, Lisa doesn't hesitate for a second. She unties her own rope, and just before the creature can make contact, she yanks both boys up the slope and reties the ropes. Back at the cabin, Lisa doesn't tend to Samuel's broken leg first. Instead, like an interrogator with a prisoner, she presses a knife against both sons' throats, forcing them to touch the rune-carved floorboards and recite prayers over and over again. Because a demon can never speak words of blessing, only after confirming neither boy has been possessed does Lisa finally breathe a sigh of relief. She locks Noah in a pitch-black cellar to meditate and repent. She firmly believes that filling the cellar with love and hope will drive away evil. But rebellious Noah doesn't buy a word of what his mother says. He's convinced that even without the ropes, nothing dangerous would happen. He believes all the danger is just in his mother's head. That night, while patrolling outside, Lisa encounters a man. It's her husband, Jack, but when she sees him, there's not a trace of joy on her face. She turns away and shuts the door without looking back. Jack died months ago. What stands before her is merely a demon puppeteering his body to lure her in. As winter closes in, their food supply runs out completely. To survive, Lisa takes the boys' ropes and uses them to extend her own, deciding to venture deeper into the forest to try her luck. But the instant she peers out, a sight that makes her scalp tingle appears before her. Beneath a tree in the distance, a flock of crows is furiously pecking at something. When she looks closer, it's the corpse of her younger son Noah, half his face already gnawed away. Lisa is scared out of her mind. But when she blinks, the hallucination vanishes. There's just a single ordinary crow perched in the tree. On the verge of a complete mental breakdown, Lisa flees in terror. With no game caught, all she can do is scrape some bark off the trees with her knife and bring it home. She fries it in a tin box with the last drops of oil they have. The boys say nothing. They force down the bark, enduring the searing pain in their throats and the agony of being unable to pass it afterward. Once even the bark is gone, desperation finally brings out humanity's cruelest side. Lisa turns her gaze to the family's pet dog, the only one in the household that doesn't need a rope and runs freely through the forest. To ease the children into it, she first pulls out a treasured old camera she's kept for years, coaxing the boys into a family photo. She says she wants to capture the good times. Then, ever so carefully, she suggests, "We need to kill the dog for meat." The words hit Noah like a sledgehammer. That dog is the only comfort he's ever known growing up. It's his sole emotional anchor in this suffocating household. Noah clutches the dog desperately, shaking his head over and over. But hunger has turned Lisa's eyes bloodshot. Like a tyrant, she rips the dog from Noah's arms and drags it into the nearby tool shed, just as Lisa raises her crossbow with trembling hands, ready to pull the trigger on the helpless animal. Heavy footsteps suddenly echo from outside the door. She turns to find Noah standing there, a gleaming machete in his hand. By now, he's been completely consumed by rage and a long-festering distrust of his mother. With a furious scream, Noah brings the blade down and hacks through the rope tied to Lisa's waist. Then he locks the tool shed door from the outside, sealing his own mother in the demon-infested world beyond. Desperate Lisa pounds on the door, begging her son to let her in. But Noah just stands there, cold and unmoved. Samuel hears the commotion and rushes out. The sight sends him into a panic. He fights to grab the key from Noah's hand, and the two brothers end up wrestling in the mud. Meanwhile, inside the tool shed, Lisa has been cornered. A bone-chilling whisper sounds in her ear. The ever-shifting demon has somehow appeared right behind her. It greedily sniffs the scent of her fear and taunts her with soul-crushing cruelty. "I'm going to possess your body, and then I'll make you tear your two precious boys apart with your own hands." To prevent herself from losing control and hurting the two children fighting outside, Lisa doesn't hesitate for a single moment. She picks up a sharp shard of glass from the ground. By the time Samuel finally overpowers his brother and frantically opens the door, it's too late. Lisa lies in a pool of blood, no longer breathing. Unable to accept reality, Samuel collapses beside his mother's body, sobbing uncontrollably. He mimics what his mother used to do, readying the severed rope around her body, crying and praying for God to bring her back. Outside, Noah is completely stunned. In a daze of shock and overwhelming fear, he ties the rope he just dismissed back around his own waist. Their mother is gone, but life must go on. Without her protection, the two brothers survive on nothing but cold water. Samuel, consumed by grief and plagued by stomach illness, develops a raging fever and lies on death's door. Watching his brother fade, Noah finally makes up his mind. He's going to break the rules their mother laid down in life. He's going to find the truth. He ties all three ropes together and sprints through the forest. After what feels like an eternity, just as the rope is about to pull taut at its absolute limit, Noah skids to a halt. There before him is a smooth, paved asphalt road. He places his hand on the ground and feels a faint vibration, but aside from the rustling of wind through the leaves, the road stretches empty in both directions. The rope won't let him go a single step further. He has no choice but to turn back, defeated. But the wheels of fate often start turning at the most desperate moments. Just as Noah reaches the cabin, a man's voice suddenly calls out from behind him. Noah whips around. There stands a middle-aged man in a hiking jacket, looking at him with a kind expression. The man introduces himself as Andy, a backpacker who was hiking through the area. He says he heard cries for help and followed the sound. He looks at Noah's gaunt, malnourished frame and cheerfully pats his backpack, saying he's got plenty of food. Those words are like music from heaven. Noah's eyes instantly well up with tears, but before he can even ask for help, Samuel has appeared in the cabin doorway, crossbow in hand, eyes cold and resolute. In his deeply brainwashed mind, there are no living humans left in this world. This stranger offering food is absolutely a puppet controlled by a demon. He fires an arrow straight into Andy's side. The innocent man screams in pain, clutches his gushing wound, and staggers off into the depths of the forest. Noah snaps. He doesn't care about demons anymore. To survive, he takes off like a hungry wolf, following Andy's trail of blood. Eventually, beneath a large tree, Noah finds Andy barely clinging to life, phone in hand, trying to call for help. Noah doesn't save him. He coldly rips the backpack away and walks off, leaving this innocent man to bleed out alone in the forest. Back at the cabin, Noah tears open a can of meat and devours it. He calls for Samuel to eat too, but Samuel clings stubbornly to their mother's teachings, furiously accusing Noah of killing their mom, swearing he'd rather starve than eat a demon's food. But stubbornness crumbles before the body's limits. In the middle of the night, delirious with hunger, Samuel finally gives in. He sneaks out of bed and wolfs down every last bit of remaining food. While rummaging through the backpack, Samuel pulls out a wallet. Inside is a photo of Andy with an adorable little girl. Then he discovers a tactical flashlight that can cycle through different colors. Looking at these objects, unmistakably products of human civilization, Samuel's rock-solid faith finally develops its first crack. While keeping watch outside with the flashlight, deep in self-doubt, Samuel suddenly notices what looks like a figure moving inside the tool shed where their mother is buried. He quickly ties his rope and goes to investigate. He pushes the door open to a wave of overpowering decay. There's nothing inside except his mother's blackened corpse. But just as he turns around, a child's voice speaks from behind him. Samuel spins around. The flashlight beam lands on the face of a little girl in a floral dress. Timidly, she tells him her dad told her to wait in the car by the road that afternoon, but he never came back. She followed the trail of blood to get here. Looking at this girl, and recalling the face in the photo, Samuel realizes with certainty that the man he shot through the side with an arrow wasn't some demon. He was a living, breathing father. At the same time, the little girl recognizes the tactical flashlight in Samuel's hand. It belongs to her dad. She glances in horror at the corpse inside, then at the blood-covered Samuel. She understands everything in an instant and screams, bolting into the pitch-black forest. Guilt-stricken and panicking, Samuel takes off after her without thinking. But the rope has its limits. Just as he's about to reach her, the hemp rope snaps taut. In that moment, watching the girl's silhouette disappear into the distance, the crushing wave of guilt completely shatters what's left of Samuel's sanity. He has to bring her back. He has to make things right. To chase this real, living human being, Samuel's trembling hands voluntarily untie the rope from his waist. Once free, he rounds a large tree, and the sight before him leaves him dumbstruck. The girl who was just running moments ago has vanished into thin air. At the same time, in the darkness, a horrifying hand covered in scales and tipped with sharp claws silently crawls along the tree trunk, swiftly circling behind the defenseless Samuel. Before he can react, A wet, slimy forked tongue slithers like a serpent into his clothing, snakes up his spine, and forces its way into his mouth. Samuel's pupils dilate, then fade to a lifeless ashen gray. The demon has finally won. The scene cuts. Noah jolts awake from sleep. Samuel is gone. He quickly ties his rope and rushes outside to search. When he pulls on Samuel's rope, it's weightless. There's nothing at the other end. Frantic, Noah sweeps his flashlight around, calling out. He finally spots an abandoned car in the woods. Then Samuel appears behind him like a walking corpse and slashes through Noah's rope. Terrified, Noah scrambles back to the cabin and barricades himself on the second floor. But the danger isn't over. Just when Noah thinks he's safe, he suddenly realizes Samuel has somehow appeared like a ghost, sitting bolt upright on their mother's bed. Even more disturbing, the ceiling above Samuel's head is rotting and decaying at a visible rate. Sensing something is terribly wrong, Noah tentatively grabs Samuel's ice-cold hand and, following what their mother taught them, begins loudly reciting the exorcism prayers. The instant the words leave his mouth, the possessed Samuel explodes with violence, letting out a bestial roar. He grabs a machete and charges after Noah in a frenzy. Though the agile Noah manages to dodge several lethal swings and escape the room, the demon-controlled Samuel possesses a chillingly high intelligence. He doesn't blindly give chase. Instead, he shoves the heavy bed against the doorway, blocking it shut. Then the most hopeless moment arrives. Demon Samuel pulls out a burning piece of firewood and, with a cold smirk, sets the curtains ablaze. Raging flames quickly engulf the entire cabin. Thick smoke billows up through the floorboards. Samuel sits outside with the crossbow, waiting. The second Noah tries to escape, he'll be riddled with arrows. Trapped in the inferno with no way out, Noah watches as the figure of his dead mother, Lisa, slowly emerges from the flames. The demon has taken her form, using her gentle voice to lure him closer. But Noah has fully awakened now. He knows with absolute clarity that this is not his mother. Under the pressure of fire and death, a flash of inspiration strikes. He remembers the cellar his mother always used as punishment. She once said it must be filled with love and happiness. It's the place demons despise most, a sacred sanctuary. With that thought, Noah's eyes sharpen. He pretends to fall under the demon's spell, luring it step by step toward the cellar entrance. The instant the demon peers inside, Noah lunges from behind like a young leopard, wrapping his arms around the evil spirit. Together, they plummet into the depths of the cellar. In the moment of the fall, Noah summons every ounce of strength in his body and screams out those words of prayer. Under the impact of this radiant force, a symbol of humanity's purest emotion, the demon lets out a piercing shriek. It tears through the mother's skin, revealing its true form, a grotesque serpentine creature. But under the purifying power of love and faith, the demon's body shatters like broken glass, disintegrating into countless fragments that scatter and vanish into the wind. Time passes. Morning sunlight pierces through the lingering smoke. The cabin has been reduced to ashes. Last night's towering blaze has finally drawn rescue from the outside world. A rescue helicopter lands on the ruins. They pull a barely alive Noah from the cellar. And to his amazement, his brother Samuel has also been rescued from the wreckage outside. In the film's final second, the camera slowly pushes in. On the helicopter, rescue workers are sorting through items found at the scene. The shot lingers on the old camera Samuel had been carrying. A Polaroid photo emerges. It was taken during the fire. A selfie Samuel snapped while sitting outside the burning cabin. In the photo, Samuel's face is completely expressionless, and on his shoulder, in plain view, rests a demonic hand covered in black fur with razor-sharp claws. This means that despite leaving the forest, the demon is still inside Samuel. It followed them out, into human society. And with that, the film ends. I'm Jack. Thanks for watching. See you next time.